Lay back, relax, enjoy it all. Saturday night, it's time to say no more. S&M with Tally and Chaos Steve. Come pleasure or pain, welcome to the stream.
And we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Eve. This is Tally.
Hi, I'm a dumbass.
You're not a dumbass, my dear. No member of my court is a dumbass. How's it going, everybody? Sorry we're so late. There was a discrepancy. Tally didn't realize that daylight savings had happened for her, but hadn't happened for us yet over here on the other side of the pond. So, here we are.
I propose daylight savings is a waste of time and we should just do away with it.
I would agree with that proposal. Yes, and happy Halloween. Hello there, Pat. How are you? Hi, Rick. Hi, Shady. Hi, Assassin.
Yeah, I mean, daylight savings might have been relevant, like, when we were actually using candles and when farmers didn't have machinery with headlights. But nowadays, it's irrelevant. We should just pick a time zone and stick with it.
I would agree, my dear. Off with her head. Yes, well, if you see anyone whose head needs to be removed, please let me know. Because I will have it removed post-haste. If you're wondering about the little flamingo, he's in training to be my new croquet mallet. Poor little thing is still too small to hit a croquet ball with, but don't worry, he will be happy to serve as my mallet one day. After all, why not? I am the queen. It's an honor to serve me.
Well, when he's grown up, he will be, yes.
Indeed.
I'm just chilling here with the white rabbit. He stops running away.
DST is ending, not starting. Well, that's exactly what we mean. It's changing, so.
I never said anything about which way it went. I just said it changed.
Exactly. Snow sharpens axe. We probably won't go as long today, kids, because Miss Eve has somewhere to be this evening. But.
And I did a dumb.
It's okay. It's all right.
And in my rush after waking up because I fell back to sleep, to undo that dumb, I actually forgot a couple of pieces. Like I forgot my little Wonderland watch. And I'm not going to get it now.
No?
I have a little watch that I could have given the white rabbit, but I forgot.
That's unfortunate, my dear. Just still setting things up.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
What's wrong?
We had to cut Pat's stream short this morning. Because, the police turned up at his house and there was shit going down with his niece and all kinds of craziness going on. So we had to cut the stream short so he could figure out what was going on. He just commented in the chat.
Oh, and she got arrested. That's quite terrible. If you're looking to me to bail her out, just because I'm queen doesn't mean I will just pardon anyone, Pat. I'm sorry. She'll have to deal with this on her own.
Bad behavior governs bad consequences.
Indeed, indeed. Miss Talita.
Yes.
How have you been this past week, my dear?
Well, all I've done today, apart from Pat's stream, was sleep.
I see. Well...
But yesterday, I got a lot done.
What did you get done?
I I mean, it wasn't anything around the house or anything like that, but I did manage to get I spent pretty much all day at Polly's speaking to welfare people, because up until I made this claim, I didn't know I was entitled. Turns out I am.
Well, that's good. Now that
But
you've...
I also found out that being on welfare, my full-time job is looking for a real job. I have to do 35 hours of job searches every week.
Well, on the upside, it's only 35 hours. But yes, it's still a lot of job searching every week.
It used to be 45 hours.
Oof.
Like years ago, it was 45 hours.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is not.
You also had another article you wanted to talk about today, did you not?
Mm-hmm. This article is a couple of weeks old.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the
couple of weeks. August is more than a couple of weeks, my dear. It's almost 2 months at this point.
It was quite a while ago, if you want to put it up on the screen.
I will indeed. Unfortunately, our logo covers the rest, but it says, the title here says, Major Victory for Pedophiles, as baffling law is passed that could see rape and sexual assault victims thrown into jail just for telling their stories. If Kefki is watching, you may not want to... Hang on. If Kefki is watching, you may want to tune out for a little bit, my dear. This one's going to be a doozy.
This is in Australia, by the way.
Quote, major victory for pedophiles. That's what it says. Quote.
Yeah. Victorian sexual assault survivors could face prison for telling their stories. A law change in February prevents them from using their real names publicly. The law, well, they tend to rarely use their real names publicly if they write a book or something like that telling their story anyway. Whereas if they were just speaking like this, they couldn't use their real names. The law is retrospective and applies to offenders who have been found guilty. Breaches can result in up to 4 months in prison or fines exceeding 3,000 Australian dollars.
Tally, pull the mic a little closer to your mouth. You're there, but you're just quiet.
Yeah, I've turned up my mic. Is that better?
Much better.
Okay. A Let Us Speak campaign has been launched as victims fight the law of law reform.
It says, as Tally said, their Victorian sexual assault survivors could be jailed for up to 4 months or face fines of $3,000 for telling their stories using their real names. The Judicial Proceedings Report Act was changed in February, prohibiting victims from identifying themselves publicly if their attacker has been found guilty. The new law applies retrospectively, meaning victims who have lawfully spoken out previously are now censored from speaking out publicly. Media outlets who defy the law can also be prosecuted and face fines of up to $8,000. I think this is absolutely ridiculous, honestly. Where's the rest of the article?
I do think it's a good thing to prevent media from posting victims' real names. However, to prevent the victims themselves from speaking out is just disgusting.
That's not what I'm trying to do. Where's the rest of the article, Tally?
Oh, it's a video.
It's a video.
You've got to scroll.
So you gave me
scroll down.
I did scroll down. It goes into ads and stuff. Oh, okay, never mind. It's way below the ads. That's weird.
It's not low. It's it's got a weird layout.
I see now. Legislation.
The legislation comes as a result of the Victorian government making a series of changes to fix another problem with the law. Dr. Rachel Burgin,
Burgin,
a lecturer of Swinburne Law School, describes the change in the law as a major victory, quote, for convicted pedophiles and rapists. She said thousands of survivors will now find they cannot tell their stories. Not only can victims no longer use their real names, they cannot provide any identifying features such as photos in publications such as memoirs, autobiographies, unless they get a court order.
There is no way that I would have $10,000 sitting around to pay just to do this. I'd be taking money away from my family. Maggie, an adult survivor of child rape, told news.com.au. This is pissing me off the more we read it.
It is pissing me off as well. It's disgusting. And the Let Us Speak hashtag that's or campaign should be publicized a lot more. See, I only heard about this like because I saw this on my Twitter. And like this was the first time I'm hearing about it. And this was back in April.
Yeah.
Or August? April?
Sexual assault survivors are now fighting for their rights to share their stories with the hashtag Let Us Speak campaign launched on Wednesday. The campaign, which is a collaboration between rape and sexual assault research and advocacy, marquee lawyers, and End Rape on Campus Australia, and the news.com.au, is calling the government to reform the law. Melbourne mother Maggie, 44, was raped from age 8 by her father, who also sexually abused her older stepsister Kate. When Maggie was 17, he was arrested and charged with rape and gross indecency, as well as multiple counts of bestiality after Kate reported her abuse to the police.
Holy shit.
In May 1997, 4 days after the trial was set to begin, he shot Kate dead after tracking her down using a private investigator. He was sent to prison the following year after pleading guilty to murder in exchange for the sexual offenses being dropped. While his parole eligibility date is looming, Maggie decided to come forward, resulting in her father receiving a 9-year jail sentence for multiple counts of incest and rape against her. However, in March this year, the Supreme Court appeal slashed his sentence for the crimes against Maggie and ruled he could serve them concurrently with his murder sentence, leaving him eligible for parole in June 2022. Fuck that guy. He deserves to be under the prison. Like, seriously.
I'd imagine the only reason he actually survived in Gen Pop, if he was in Gen Pop, is because this charge wasn't on his rap sheet.
Yeah, because the rape wasn't. It was just murder.
Yeah.
The sexual abuse was not on his record. I'm now a mother of 3 beautiful children, and I wouldn't want him out in any community. I'm not just scared for my children. I'm scared for all children. I also have to be the voice for my sister, too. She never got the justice for the sexual abuse she experienced either, Maggie said. Maggie contacted the Australian media outlets to draw attention to the lenient sentences given to pedophiles, only to learn that the new law makes it a crime for the media to publish her name or her father's, as it could indirectly identify her.
I understand that. I understand if the abuser is related to the victim, preventing his name from going out as well. However, if she wants her name out there, then no one has any right to say that she can't.
Yeah. My sister was murdered for trying to tell her story, and now I'm stopped from telling mine. He has all the power again. It has to change, Maggie said. Victorian Attorney General Jill Hennessy has written Maggie and other members of the Let Us Speak campaign to say she is very sorry to hear their experiences. She has requested the Department of Justice and Community Safety look into the cases. A GoFundMe page has been set up to cover court costs of survivors battling to overturn the gag law. Similar gag laws were overturned in the Northern Territory and Tasmania earlier this year as a result of the Let Us Speak campaign. However, they differed to Victorian legislation as they were outdated pre-existing policies. Yeah, that's the thing, is that this is a new policy. This isn't something that was just outdated and came in recently, but yes, the names were changed for legal reasons. Yeah, they can't even get the woman's actual name. They can't give, and they're probably going to get in trouble for giving details of the case, and that's just ridiculous that they can't even. They're
probably going to get in trouble for if they hadn't changed Kate's name. They probably changed her name as well, even though she's dead.
Yeah, both of them. They had to probably give fake names because they'll get in trouble for it. So it's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous that is a thing that we have in the modern age. We're going to penalize victims of rape and pedophilia and sexual abuse.
Real victims of rape.
Real victims, yeah. These are women that were actually abused. And we convicted the guy and sent him away, but because we have a conviction on him, they can't talk about their experiences. I don't understand why, and I don't know if it's to like prevent news outlets from talking about them without their permission, but there's a really easy way to do that. Just require that the news outlets have permission to talk about these things, from the families or from the victims.
Well, I mean, you can, like, news organizations and news outlets can talk about this sort of thing. They just shouldn't be allowed to use people's names in this case.
Mm-hmm. And
whereas if the victims are okay with their names being put out,
I forgot
then that's completely different.
I forgot my crown, Tally.
Oh, no! I did remind you when we
You did remind me, and I forgot to put it on. It's there now.
Yay.
Hi, Travis. That AG needs to be fired. Yeah, that is absolutely uncalled for and ridiculous, and just I'm angry about it. Like, we sit there and we want to have the conversation of rape victims should come forward. Rape victims should be open about what happened to them so that we can punish the person who did them wrong. No, I mean, seriously,
rape victims should always, the first thing they should do is always go to the police.
Well, that's my point. That is my point right there, Tally.
There's nothing in the law to prevent victims from going to the police.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's my point. But when we put, it's like the gun control things. They can't ban guns, so they put every other restriction on it that they possibly can to make it difficult or nearly impossible for you to own a gun. In the same way, we tell rape victims to come forward, to talk to the police, to go get help for these kind of things, to reach out, to tell their stories. And then we put restrictions like this on them? Like, children who were, like, these women were literally children when they were sexually assaulted by their own father. And they can't even come forward and talk about that out loud. To try to encourage others to come forward. They can't even do that.
I understand laws being put in place to stop people from just saying they were raped without actually going to the police. Because anyone can just claim they were raped.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand penalizing that. But to have someone who the police know they were raped, and in order to get the father charged with murder, they dropped the sexual assault charges.
This isn't even a situation of... Well, I mean, this isn't even a situation of, like, they're trying to protect people who have been accused. This is people who have actually been convicted. If you get a conviction, then the law applies here. That makes absolutely zero sense.
It does make zero sense.
I don't know.
What do you think, Rabbit? Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I agree.
It really is quite stupid.
He can hear you. He's got such big ears.
My flamingo is just sitting there staring into the camera quite ominously. He's coming for you. It has
got that look on its face like, I am going to kill you all.
The head cocked slightly to the side.
Does give that sort of look of it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. See if I got my nails done to match. My hands and my toes are all alternate black and red.
I broke one of my nails, so I had to file the rest down.
Well, you're wearing gloves anyway, so.
In saying that, they do fit quite nicely within my gloves now.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, back to that subject at hand. I'm just... How can we convince rape survivors to come forward, to tell their stories, to fight back against the people that do this if we can't even guarantee them that they'll have a voice?
I will always say the same thing to people who have been raped or sexually assaulted. Don't tell your friends. Don't tell your university. The first thing you should do is go to the police. And then, once you've got the charges set and he's actually been convicted, then take the evidence from the court case to the university.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. There's
universities should just be able to kick people out based on the word of one person without any evidence.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. That should not be a thing, but it happens far too often. Mostly because it's not a legal proceeding. The bar for them to do so is much lower. And like I said, this irritates the ever-loving fuck out of me. I think the flamingo is confused. Who are you people in audience land? Yes. This is my adoring public, Miss. This is Miss Gilda. Sorry, it's a girl. Sorry. I didn't realize when I ordered this it was actually a Beanie Baby. So.
That's really cute.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be bigger, but it's okay. It sells the point. Don't worry, little one.
I've got a Beanie Baby somewhere. It's an angel. It's about this tall. It's a bear. It's over there. I'm not going to get
it. Did you, Miss Tally, have anything else you wanted to talk about?
That was the only thing I found. So you thought it was going to be more like this sort of size?
Yeah, it's probably closer to that. I didn't realize it was going to be so tiny.
This is Halo.
Hello, Halo. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Since that didn't fire people up enough. Let's talk about something,
What have you got?
Do you want to talk about the level of stupid of stuff that I got into on Twitter?
Go for it.
So I commented. I saw Shoe on Head post something last night, and this was probably my first mistake. I replied to Shoe on Head. And she said something about the fate of my profile picture depends on the outcome of this election. She puts up two different pictures. One that's kind of happy and one that's kind of rage-facey looking. And I was just like, hate to break it to you, but I don't think Biden is going to win. That's all I said. I didn't show a preference. I didn't really go into whether or not I even why that I thought that. That's all I said. And oh, I saw that. No, honey, you pissed off the commies? Apparently I did, because I got some salty ass replies. Some of it was just like, actually, here's the facts of the statistics and the numbers. I'm just like, because the polls were so reliable 4 years ago. Every poll told us that Trump was going to win. But I got all kinds of salt.
Every poll told us Trump was going to lose.
Oh, sorry, yes. Every poll told us Trump was going to lose and Hillary was going to win, and they didn't.
Well, no one liked the platform she ran on. I mean, Trump ran on a platform of America first, Americans and America first.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Hillary ran on a platform of, it's my turn.
I got a new one. Do you want to bet money on it?
I deserve it because vagina.
Do you want to bet money on it to a charity of choice? I'm not betting on the election. That's retarded. I'm just not fucking doing that.
You know what? You should have put money on it, because then they would have had she would have had to.
But she won't do it. So, like, I'm not going to trust that somebody else would have followed through.
In that case, you can just publicize that you put money on it, and here's the evidence that you put money on it, and she didn't do it.
Yeah. gonna bring it up right now.
And it just would have
So like
it would have just been bad optics for her.
Here's Shu's tweet. Beta my profile picture depends on the outcome of this election. I said, hate to break it to you, I don't think Biden's gonna win. And I only got 8 replies, but that's directly to me. The threads that followed were kind of lengthy.
Do you want to share the threads? Like, so everyone can see them?
I'm sharing them right now. Oh, I didn't share them to you. Hang on. Here, so you can actually see it. I'll DM it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm sharing it on screen right now so people can see. But since Shoes fans are diehard commies, they got it. They got lit. Yeah, apparently. Hi, Yuki. How are you, sweetheart?
Hi, Yuki.
Twitter's a toxic waste dump, but it's fun to mess with idiots. Yes. I said it seemed more like it was people who were just wanting to correct my facts, that he has a chance, and I'm just like, I really don't care. I think both of them are terrible choices to lead our country, but one's already there, and the other one is the one they want to replace him with, so...
I very rarely piss people off on Twitter. In fact, the only time I can really think of when I piss people off on Twitter was that blobfish looks like a feminist if you put a meme, wig and glasses on it meme. And I got a lot of hate for that, and I was just sitting here laughing, and feminists got mad. Hoes mad, yo.
It says, even if Trump wins every single state where he's down 5 points or less, he won't. He only wins electoral college.
One of these idiots actually think Texas is looking to turn blue.
No.
Bitch, Texas is never, ever gonna go blue.
Which idiot said that? I don't see that here.
Someone called.
Well, wait, hang on. I'm reading down. Tally, hang on.
Oh.
So it says even if Trump wins every single state that he's down 5 points or less, and only wins the electoral college by 8 points. He has a very slight chance of winning legitimately. If he wins, it'll be because he decided to ignore mail-in ballots and go purely off in-person votes. I saw a lot of that, and I want to address that notion is that somehow, I haven't heard this, and I could be wrong, but I haven't heard Trump saying that he's going to ignore mail-in votes. I've heard a lot of concern about mail fraud. I've seen several articles where it's like, mail has been just dumped somewhere, including people's ballots that they've mailed in. But I haven't seen him say anything about not counting mail-in votes. And not like he can control that anyway.
The reason the DNC is pushing so hard for mail-in ballots is because they are so easy to mess with.
Well, not even so much that, but they definitely want to get even without accusing them of trying to be fraudulent,
Oh, they are fraudulent, let's face it.
The Republican Party's not any better. They'll pull some dirty shit when they want to win, too.
The Republican Party, they will pull dirty shit. But you won't have people that have been Republican their entire life and then suddenly they die and they're Democrat voters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've seen shit where people who have been who were Democrats get 2 ballots, if not more, and people that are registered Republicans have only gotten 1. Like, this was actually caught because a retired couple who have their son live with them, they are both Republicans. And their son is a Democrat. They each got 1 ballot, and their son got 2. Like there have actually been very honest people that have been registered Democrats who have been showing they've gotten 2, 3, sometimes 4 ballots in the mail, and they've actually been taking pictures, hiding their names and addresses, and saying, "Look what I got." Like, all they've been showing is that they are addressed to the same person by showing first name, first letter of surname.
I don't know how legitimate that is, because I'm pretty sure that we have things about duplicate voting. You can't, like, for reasons you can't do that, but because it invalidates your initial vote to begin with if you vote more than once. But like I said, I haven't seen anything anywhere about Trump even saying anything near he's not going to count mail-in votes. And that was the thing that a lot of people said he's going to ignore. Like, the second person here, one definite way for him to win is if Trump rigs the mail ballots, in which he's been trying to do since the general election started. Yeah, like,
No, he's been trying to encourage people to go to the poll stations instead of mail in, because if you mail it in and you have someone that's an asshole that delivers the mail, they could easily open that shit up and change your ballot. It's very easy to change someone's ballot if they mail it in.
The mail-in ballot is nothing like the absentee ballot. There are no identity verification requirements for mail-ins. That's the thing. I'm not sure why they thought it was a good idea to do it differently.
Well, I was speaking to Magog about this in his server, and he said that when he did an absentee ballot when he was overseas, he had to do about he had to fill in like 17 pages of paperwork in order to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas mail-in ballots, it's like 1 or 2 pages.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem right. It should be it should be basically just an absentee ballot. Like, they should have relaxed the requirements to be able to do it because, hey, people are stuck at home with COVID, not wanting to go out to public places. I get that. There are a lot of people who are still scared of that. Instead, we should have made the absentee ballots available to them, in my opinion. Same requirements, but you still have to prove everything.
The mail-in ballots, they make it simple for the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if someone's got dementia, they are very likely to mess up a form if it's that long.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is pretty easy to get someone that's elderly and in a wheelchair into one of those special transport vehicles for people that are elderly. I mean, there are loads of them, and take them physically to the polling station. You can do that. Just keep them all masked up and they'll be fine. But they make these mail-in ballots easy for people like that.
Yeah, and that to me is I don't know. But it's hard to make the argument.
9 times out of 10, these mail-in ballots aren't usually filled in by the people that they are supposed to be for anyway. It's normally the person caring for the elderly person that fills it in, and then the elderly person, the carer can just say, well, I want the Democrats. You might be a Republican, but fuck you, your vote is now going to be Democrat. Well, that is possible.
Okay, it's possible, but you got to think about the percentage of people that actually is. They also have to sign, if someone's filling out a document like that for you, they have to sign off on something saying that, yes, this is what the person actually wanted. So if somebody comes back and says, hey, yeah, you voted for Biden, right? And the person goes, no, I voted for Trump. What did they put down on there? I had this person over here do it for me. You run the risk of getting in trouble for it. And I don't think many people are as willing to take that risk as you might think. There are definitely some people who are dumb enough and would do it anyway, but I don't think there's that many people. Excuse me. But
well, it depends on the individual. I mean, we do live in an era where people are stupid enough to beat up an old person while recording it and then post it online. People are pretty freaking stupid nowadays.
Hikaru says, actually, it's kind of messed up that I was told I'd already voted when I went to vote early. And yet, not only have I not voted, it would be the first time in years that I was going to vote. Yeah, that's sus. How had you already voted? I work in that field, Tally. No, it is not easy to do that. A 5-minute trip requires a half-hour time commitment. It has to be scheduled 3 days in advance to load the old people up in there. So yeah, I understand why they have those things. I
understand it is a bit of a ball ache, but in order to make it so that they can actually get their vote heard, I think it is something that, like,
to bust them over to
mail-in ballots are very easy to mess with. So I think in order to prevent that and to make elderly's votes actually matter, it should be something that people should be doing.
Well, let me ask you this, Tally. We've had the conversation on here about your thoughts on COVID. And how the quarantine isn't actually a quarantine, and we should be only quarantining the at-risk people, right? Like the elderly and the sick.
Not at risk, actual sick people. Quarantine it's not a quarantine if you are
right, but some of those people
preventing healthy people from going out. That's just tyranny. It is only quarantine.
Hold on. I understand that. That's not the part I'm arguing with you. The part I'm arguing with you is that what happens when we take these people who are vulnerable to it, older people whose immune systems don't work as well, and we put them in a public situation like a voter place where there's a bunch of people all over the place and half of them are idiots, don't care, and go out sick. Hold on. Let me finish. Half of them are idiots, don't go out sick just because they want to cast their vote so that my candidate wins, but they've got COVID. You've now put these elderly people in a situation where they are vulnerable people and get exposed to this virus.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
Most of polling stations are at churches and day centers where the elderly like to hang out anyway.
They don't hang out, dear. They're at home right now.
But you do get very vigorous elderly people. They're old, but they are very capable people, and they like to spend time with other elderly but very capable older people. And they
did
tend
before
to spend
COVID.
Their times in day centers.
They did before COVID. And that's the problem, is that that's changed the landscape of how these kind of things operate. People who are vulnerable need to be kept away from, potential sources of catching this disease because it could kill them. And
I have another way around it. I have another way around it. Set up a polling station that is just for the people within a care home at the care home.
Well, and they're not necessarily at a care home. You're also thinking of being like a nursing home. Not everybody has that kind of money. Some people have like live-in nurses. Some people are just like, hey, I'm sitting here taking care of my elderly grandmother because my parents can't, or because they're just not able to do for themselves. There are plenty of situations like that where it's just family takes care of them. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't thought this all the way through.
Slipknot says no, they cannot be at churches. It's illegal. They can't have polling stations at churches anymore. Good morning, evening to you as well, Richo. Going back on the road, listening but can't talk. Okay. He says each one has to be loaded alone. Busing is not an option, right? So you have to load each individual elderly person up alone into a car, drive them to a place where they could potentially get exposed to something. Most of them aren't going to want to do that. They're just going to be like, fuck it, I'll stay home.
All right, people who now I did say that if they are in a care home or a group home or something like that for the elderly, set up a polling station that is just for the elderly within the care home.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you can do is you can have so that you've got people that are taken care of by nurses and family members and all this sort of thing. Now, all of the ones that have family members and a full-time nurse who actually lives there full-time, have it so that these elderly people are able to be brought to these elderly-only voting areas. And everyone has to wear a mask. I'm trying to come up with solutions.
No, you are, and I appreciate that. I don't know that that's the most elegant solution or the most effective one, but I do see the attempt to try to make the middle ground.
This is a very unusual voting season because of the chaos.
Excuse me, it's not my fault that this is all going wrong.
But I know I'm not coming up with the most elegant solutions, but I am trying to come up with some kind of solution to avoid mail-in voter fraud.
See, that's the thing, but back to the subject at hand. Most of the responses I got were voter fraud, suppressing the mail-in ballots, things like that. And one person said, well, the polls say this, and it's just like, it's not 2016. Yeah, somebody said, kind of weird you say that, seeing as it isn't 2016 and the polls are kind of open and shut. And I'm just, when Rex go, my buddy Rex, he goes, yes, the polls. And so the person replies, the polls were in 2016 were within margin of error. The polls now have been adjusted based on the 2016 data.
They were not within a margin of error.
They were not.
They said that Hillary had something like a 97 to like a 75% chance.
Yeah. And it was not even close.
No, Trump
and these are
won
even
by a massive amount.
He said, and these are even more accurate polls, clearly show an overwhelming swing. Trump has very few paths to victory. Okay. He says,
During the 2016 election, places that had been blue for decades voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm. Question is will they still?
Like the polls say Biden is 10 points ahead in Texas. Gun grabber Joe is 10 points ahead in Texas. Bullshit.
Yeah. The problem is there are some I think it's like the larger cities are a little more blue. The problem with Texas is there's
Dallas, Houston.
It's
Austin.
Such a massive state that the concentration of people in Texas isn't just in the major cities like it is in other states, because Texas is so massive. There's so many small towns and so many other areas that are much more rural. That
the only places in Texas that are really blue are Dallas and Houston,
right,
and maybe Austin,
right. And that's the problem, is that the places where you would normally find more liberal left-leaning people are in major cities. The places where you'll find more conservative right-leaning people are going to be in rural areas, and Texas has so much more rural
areas, but in smaller towns. I don't know why, but for some reason, very, very, quote, liberal. They're not very liberal, though. They're mostly commies. But these people, they tend to concentrate in cities. Why do they do that? Whereas a conservative can be happy living anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Paz says Texas here, conservatives live in rural areas. Polls mean nothing.
You classify small towns as rural areas.
Well, yeah, small towns are considered rural areas because smaller towns tend to have less of the luxuries and things that come from... So that's the other thing, is that I find that liberal or left-leaning people tend to come up more in larger places with higher population densities that have more luxuries and have more conveniences than they do than do more rural areas. Sorry.
Well, the difference is, in a rural area, you don't have access to the luxuries, and life is harder. So you're more likely to think about, like, you're more likely to be conservative because of how much harder your life is.
And you want things that will make it easier and make it better for you. Which is also part of the mindset, is that
a small town that only has one ambulance.
Yeah, which is also
vote conservative.
Which is also part of the what? That doesn't mean anything. You're going to vote conservative because you only have one ambulance?
Well, I mean, what happens in Democrat-run cities? They lose a lot of their emergency responders.
Okay.
People just go, fuck this shit, eyes out.
Okay. I have thoughts on that statement, but that doesn't... I
know it doesn't track.
You lost me. I was following a train of thought and you lost me completely. No, I was gonna say in the sense of having those modern conveniences, and it makes people, I don't know, it gives more people more time to think, I guess, to get in their own heads a little more than they probably should. I don't know. I you know me, I'm a moderate. I don't really play favorites to either side, one side or the other. I like to say, leave me the fuck alone, and you do you, and I'll do me, and as long as neither one of us are hurting anyone, who gives a fuck what we do, But
I think a big reason why people in the rural areas tend to be more conservative also is because of healthcare. Like, it would be a ball ache to get healthcare through a nationalized healthcare if you're living in a rural area. Whereas having health insurance, you can go to any hospital.
No, you can't.
And usually they only
like
have
in an
one
emergency.
hospital.
In an emergency, yes.
Well, usually they have it set up so that their insurance covers them for the one doctor, surgery, or one hospital that is in their area.
I think that's a gross miscalculation of what insurance in America is.
Probably.
In my experience, but I've also lived in larger metropolitan areas, or close to them. Insurances usually prefer a hospital. They will say, well, you can go to these select hospitals and we'll pay X amount of dollars. We consider these hospitals in network. You can go to the other hospitals, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg more. And, they can't refuse treatment to you regardless. If you should just go to the nearest hospital in an emergency, but insurance companies will definitely not pay for a lot of stuff that they don't feel like if you didn't go to their preferred person. So
I've realized I realize I sound incredibly dumb talking on
no,
these
you're fine.
on me because I don't live there.
You're fine.
When it comes to the voter thing, I am trying.
You are, and that's the thing. That's the reason why I pushed back on some of the things that you say, because it's like, obviously you don't know everything that's going on, so I try to provide you with new information, which is how debates should go, kids. This is how a back and forth should happen. Is like, hey, apparently you may not have been aware about X fact over here, or what about this situation? Did you think about this? And Tally can go, no, I didn't think about that. Let me puzzle that out a little bit. And neither one of us is walking away from this angry at the other person.
Well, a couple of months ago, me and one of the guys I play D&D with had a political disagreement, and before the game. We moved from the group chat that we were in into a private, into a different chat on the same server, and we spoke about it. Like, yeah, it was heated. It was politics, but it wasn't disrespectful. And then when someone else came down and said, it's game time, you're still friends? We were like, yeah, we're fine. And we had a good laugh about it before we actually started playing the game. And then we just went and played the game. I am not going to start hating this person just because they disagree with me politically. Exactly. In fact, he's now a part of the new party I've started playing with on a Friday.
Nice.
Or is it? Yeah, it's on a Friday. He's part of that party.
Chat's been talking while we've been going at each other. Pat said, and have more poverty and homelessness. Well, yes, but I would offer that there are other reasons for that as well, why smaller towns don't have those issues as much. If you're looking at it based on
those issues as much because it's cheaper to be able to rent and buy houses. Like in
this is true.
Somewhere in LA, it's like what, like up to $5,000 a month for an apartment, whereas you go to like Arkansas, anywhere in Arkansas, provided you're outside of the big city, and it's about $700 a month. Thank you.
Anyway, Shady says, "Happy Halloween, everyone." Happy Halloween, Shady. Travis says, "I live in Oklahoma. I feel."
I just got hit with cigarettes.
Oh, nice. Trick or treat for you, huh?
I know, right?
Travis says, "I live in Oklahoma. I feel we are more conservative than Texas." I don't know anything about Oklahoma, TBH, so I'll just have to take your word for it. Hope you're having a good one, Shady. DFW is split conservative and liberal equally habitat of the area. And you guys haven't killed each other yet? Wow.
I'm surprised you haven't had a Hatfields and McCoy type situation.
Even my Democrat friends carry guns, says Travis. That's actually happening a lot more. Even Reaper.
Yeah, it is. People who have been against guns, when shit hits the fan in a lot of these Democrat-run cities, they've realized, oh shit, I am my first line of defense, and I can't get a gun.
Even Unholy Reaper, who was a friend of mine, who shows up in chat once in a while when he feels like it, has mentioned that he's noticed a lot more liberals buying guns.
Reaper?
Has noticed he's seen a lot more liberal people buying guns, because he's a gunsmith. He sees that kind of thing. Yeah. So is Snow. Snow's mentioned it too. And a lot of them are finding they don't.
Engineer rather than a gunsmith.
But he's a big gun person as well. A lot of them are finding out a lot of the laws that they've insisted on before that running up against them and like, well, I don't understand. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Why is this a problem for me to buy a gun?
Well, politicians leaning to the left tend to say that people that need a gun, like want a gun right now, are the people that you should prevent from getting a gun. Tell that to the woman in where was it?
Chasing a Rabbit.
There was a woman in
Alice,
New Jersey.
Chasing Rabbits has got you in trouble before, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. But there was a woman in New Jersey, and she went through the gun licensing thing in order to get a gun. She was on the 10-day waiting list, waiting for her approval and her license, and her ex-boyfriend killed her. And the whole reason she wanted a gun was because she thought he was going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and surprise, surprise, he did. If anyone, they say that if the people that want guns immediately shouldn't be allowed to have them. What about her?
Okay, Tally. Okay, we get the tangent. You're kind of going off on a rabbit trail that's going way off where we're trying to go. I'm trying to get through what chat's saying. Conservatives.
That was a typical British thing. Sorry.
It's okay. Conservatives are very self-made style of people in rural areas leads more to hard work like farming and such. Yeah, that's true as well. And they find that I think that's also the thing, is people in rural areas are a lot more self-sufficient. They have to be because usually they're out there by themselves. Like, I know plenty of people, and I live in Tennessee. I live in Memphis. I know plenty of people outside of the city in other counties that live in the middle of nowhere, and they've got maybe 3 people that live around them. They own a farm or something like that, and they've got to get out there and work that land. They can't or they can hire somebody to do it, but only when they actually have gotten together enough money to do so, and they have to be working hard to make that money to begin with. And you find that they're a lot more self-sufficient in that regard, because it's either do or die out there in the boonies by yourself. Whereas in the city, there's a lot more people, and there's a lot more help, even in terms of like the government and things like that. So, I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. I think everybody should be as self-sufficient as they can be, but at the same time, sometimes it's not always possible when you live in the city to be super self-sufficient.
Me and my best friend, we had similar upbringings in some respects, but very different upbringings in other respects.
Mm-hmm.
Like in one aspect where we had similar upbringings, we both lived in a relatively large house that was practically in the middle of nowhere. So we had, like, I had one neighbor, she had one neighbor growing up. The
Mm-hmm.
neighbor I had was a woman that I had a farm across the street from me, across the road. And she lives in what used to be like, there's a very old house that's been split in two, but both houses are still really large. So she had one neighbor. And in aspects where it was different is I grew up with relatively more luxury growing up because my father was a self-employed businessman who employed more than 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
He employed some from it differed from time to time, but it was usually something from 50 to 100 people that was under in his employment.
Mm-hmm.
Her family worked in like stables. They managed horse stables, so she spent a lot more time in doing like farm work and all that sort of thing than I did because I had a horse, but I wasn't taking care of other people's horses.
Uh-huh.
Now in our politics, like today, I mean, she is 6 years younger than me, but she's a lot more liberal than I am. She's more left leaning than I am, and I'm more right leaning. We're still best friends, and we do disagree on politics, but I love her. And we had a conversation yesterday about how I'm really annoying, and I'm aware I'm annoying, and I really need to shut up now. I'm sorry.
I love you. I adore you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Oh my goodness. Like you're crazy.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with you? All right,
So
so
yeah, we have had upbringings that are similar and dissimilar in certain ways, but she's more liberal and I'm more conservative.
gotcha. So focus. Let's go. Dan says depends on your insurance. I work for a hospital system and I'm allowed to go to any hospital I choose, but it's not the same for all. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the grand majority of them are not quite that open, but you know, if you got good insurance, good on you, man. I mean, really depends on what your company's willing to pay for. Agreed. Civil discussion is beautiful when done right. Pat says, how do we feel about the Sean Connery news? I'm getting to that in a minute.
You sprung that on me this morning, and my heart broke.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Kefki says, trick or treat, give me the candy. Candy.
I have got candy. I don't know where I put it. What did I do with my candy, Rabbit?
I don't know. I need to go buy some candy.
I will. Well, my candy isn't for trick or treaters. It's like a bag of Haribo. Kids and grown-ups love it, so the happy world of Haribo.
Most conservative folks in our area don't engage with the angry left. Just no point in arguing with a brick wall if I can express an opinion. That's fair. It's if you can't have a discussion, if you can't talk to a person in such a way that you can have a back and forth and understand where the other person is coming from. Like I said, I'm one of those people who tries to always understand where the other person is coming from, even if they're not being super genuine to me. And on occasion, I can get through to somebody, but for the most part, most people are just not willing to listen. They're not willing to see you as anything.
Before.
Yeah.
You've actually changed my mind on stream.
Yeah. And you've changed my mind about things before.
And that's how a political discussion should be.
Mm-hmm. Kefki says, I want real candy, check. You better mail me candy. Mail her some candy, check, right now.
I don't know where my candy is. However, I do have tarts.
Memes said hello. Hello, Memes. Do you have tarts?
Hi, I have tarts.
Did you steal my tarts, Alice?
I didn't steal your tarts. I bought tarts.
My tarts are missing, Alice. Where are my tarts?
They're Bakewell tarts.
Those look very much like my tarts, Alice.
What's in them?
Strawberry.
Oh no, there's no strawberry in these. These are Bakewell tarts. They're marzipan.
That's exactly what I meant to say. Marzipan tarts. How dare you steal my tarts, Alice? Off with her head!
When I worked for the pizza shop, I was eating some of these tarts, and my boss's son had never tried a Bakewell tart, so I gave him one to try, and he ate it, and he was like, "This tastes like something." I was like, "Marzipan," and he was like, "No, it tastes like almonds." It was like, "Yes, sweetie, marzipan is made using almonds."
Yeah. Kefki says, I don't understand today. Children keep trying to take my sweet hoard of candy. Does that make Kefki a candy dragon? She's a candy dragon, isn't she? Look. Happy's jealous. She wants attention.
We
Hello,
should definitely give Kefki the all the candy.
Is this Princess happy? My sweetness.
She is a little cutie.
All right, hop down. Come on, hop down. Get down. Come on. Stop. She's like leaning. She throws her weight backwards, knowing I can't get a good grip on her. She like just leans back like this, and it's like, if I do this, you can't get to me. And I'm just like, no, stop. Before I go, I thought I'd ask, do you ever have live discussion with your fans? It's not something we've done before. I wouldn't.
We could do it.
We could do it through Discord. I think that would be pretty easy.
Well, yeah, we normally hang out in Discord and have a chat afterwards anyway.
We definitely do afterwards. If you guys do have, we're coming up on the end of our stream soon anyway. So if you guys do have any questions, comments, concerns, things you'd like to ask us, things you'd like to weigh in on that we missed, please do so now. But we also hang out in Discord for a little while. I might not be there for very long today because I have a party to go to.
I will be, because Saturday night sessions are no longer happening.
Right. So Tally will be in there for a while. I'll be in there for a little bit. But normally after every stream, she and I hang out with y'all and talk. And sometimes things from the show come up. Sometimes we move on to other subjects, So
I just thought of a fairy tale when we were talking about the tarts. That is very relevant to our costumes. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole the tarts and took them clean away. The King of Hearts, he called for the tarts and beat the knife full sore. The Knave of Hearts brought back the tarts and vowed to steal no more.
Yeah, until the Queen set off with his head, so.
Oh no, in that nursery rhyme, the Knave of Heart kept his head because he brought the tarts back and vowed to never steal again.
I don't believe him. There is one thing left that Pat mentioned that I wanted to cover. And that is the unfortunate passing of Sean Connery. We found out this morning. Sean Connery, Oscar winner and James Bond star, dies at 90. Scottish-born actor who...
He was 90 today, wasn't he?
Was he? I don't know. I'm going to read that. Scottish-born actor who rocketed to fame as James Bond and became one of the franchise's most popular and enduring international stars has died. He was 90. Connery, long regarded as one of the best actors to have portrayed the iconic spy, was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2000 and marked his 90th birthday in August. His death was confirmed by his family, who said that the actor, quote, died peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by family in the Bahamas. It is believed that he has been unwell for some time. His last acting role had been in Stephen Norrington's The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Really? That was the last thing he did? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, 2003.
He was fantastic in that.
I loved that movie, and I've been waiting for the sequel for forever. Because
not going to be a sequel.
They strongly implied that, Quartermain would come back to life at the end of the movie. But spoilers if you haven't seen it, kids, sorry. Oh goodness, hang on, we just got a donation.
See,
Yuki
this
of
was just
Soku,
from
though,
Oh,
donated
Tally, shut up.
$100.
I just woke up.
It is Halloween, so treats to the Alice in Wonderland trick-or-treaters today.
Thank you, Yuki, for the $100. He said, it's Halloween, so thank you for the, oh, fuck, I have to read it again. Because Tally was talking in my ear. I was trying to tell her we're getting a donation.
Bearing in mind, I can't actually hear the donations because we're talking through this.
That's why I told you hang on, and you didn't hear me. You zoned out.
Sorry.
Uh-huh. You need to listen to me more. Thank you, Yuki. He says Halloween, so trick-or-treaters, so treats to the Alice in Wonderland trick-or-treaters today. Thank you so much, Yuki. That was wow. You are something
Did you
else,
hear
man.
that, Bunny? I love this rabbit. He has been with me for more than 25 years. He's actually been with me nearly my whole life.
Aw.
You became my friend when I had measles, didn't you?
Hi, happiness.
He kept me company in hospital.
Connery was an audience favorite for more than 40 years and one of the screen's most reliable and distinctive leading men. The actor was recently voted the best James Bond actor in an August Radio Times poll in the UK. More than 14,000 voted, and Connery claimed 56% of the vote. Wow.
Wow.
Global tributes poured in for Connery Saturday following news of his death.
The people that didn't vote for Sean Connery as the best James Bond to ever live is wrong. And the polls prove it.
However, I'm looking at just to see if there's any more information other than just he died peacefully, I guess. They just go into his career. Most of you know who Connery is. You've probably seen a Sean Connery movie at some point in your life.
Well, everyone's seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Not everybody. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, James Bond, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Entrapment, Hunt for Red October. There's just tons and tons of movies that he's been in.
I have an idea. Huh? We should honor Sean Connery with a series of movie nights where we just watch Sean Connery movies.
If you've got time for that, sure. You can set that up.
I've got time. I am unemployed. I've got all the time in the world. Apart from the 35 hours a week I need to spend on a job search.
Yeah. Shady says, minor doxing, he is my namesake. As much as I don't like my name, this man's passing hits me a little hard. Not sad, just a wow moment for me. Yeah. The Rock.
Yeah, if you watched Pat's stream this morning,
Dragonheart.
That reaction that I gave, that was my initial reaction because that was my first hearing of it.
Mm-hmm. But they just go into his movie roles and stuff here, so I'm not going to read all of it. However, if you would like to, I'll post the Variety article here in the chat. There was nothing doxy there. Nah. Nothing that's not already public information.
Don't worry, Josh. I will help you eat all of the candy.
I'll post the article right there so you guys can...
I have so much candy, Tally. Help me eat it all.
Yeah, he's probably got a lot of candy.
I have tarts.
You are a tart. So is that cannibalism? With that said...
Did you hear that, Bunny? That was so rude.
I can't believe she thinks I'm required to be nice to her, Flamingo. How could... Gilda, darling, sorry. You're the best croquet mallet in training I've ever had.
The Queen's
She's really not.
To me.
She's really not. Don't tell her.
The Queen is so mean to me, Bunny.
I'm not required to be nice to you, my dear. I'm required to rule the world.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I'll give you some too, Chaos. Well, thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for the candy. I've actually not gotten any candy lately. I think I'm getting old, kids. I'm starting to run out of a taste for candy. Like, it doesn't appeal to me as much to just gorge myself on candy, you know? It used to. I used to love doing that.
I'll tell you what, I take my little in trick-or-treating, and the first thing he does when he gets home is just dump it all on the floor and try to eat as much of it as he can. We have to confiscate it from him to stop him.
I don't know. I ain't got nothing else. I'm finna wrap up. You got anything else you want to add, Tally? Does Chad have anything else they would like to add? Oh, BG says, according to his son, Sean Connery was dealing with health issues for a bit. Yeah, they did mention that in the article.
Yeah, they did.
How many dragons do you know? Well, we lost the very last dragon today. So.
I'm sad. He wasn't just Sean Connery. He was Sir Sean Connery.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like in the he was the literal definition of a knight. He was knighted by the Queen. He was a knight.
Mm-hmm. And a British citizen to boot, so.
Yes, he was a knight of the realm. We still have those. It's more of a honorary thing rather than like actually being knights nowadays, but the I'm so tired. I don't know what's going on, but the ceremony for knighting is still exactly the same.
I just wanted to share this because Travis sent it to me. Bill Nye, it's a Bible on B article. Bill Nye to dress up as real scientist for Halloween. There you go, kids. That's all you needed. That's all you needed was the headline. Oh my god.
Bill Nye's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. What was... I was going to look at one more thing. I was going to go chat and see what they're saying. May he rest in peace. Yes. Lies, sacrilege, Sacramento. Lies. You're never too old for candy. I think I'm getting old. I think I'm just getting tired of it. I don't know. It just doesn't... The idea of just gorging myself on candy doesn't work anymore. I'm just like, I'll have a couple pieces. You sure you don't want a truckload? No, not really. I
prefer chocolate.
My teeth are bad enough, thank you.
I prefer chocolate.
Well, chocolate falls under candy, in my opinion. Anyways, that's gonna...
Chocolate and candy are two separate things. Chocolate is chocolate, and candy is everything else.
Pat makes a good point. She prefers eye candy now. I do. I like my eye candy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for being here today. Miss Tally, do you have anything else before we let these lovely people get to their Halloween?
Can I go back to sleep?
Yes, you can, my dear. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you like what we do on this channel, share with your friends. Be sure to hit that like button on the way out the door. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
Before you leave, you've got to read Assassin's last comment.
Let's see. Remember, the Queen of Chaos is always right. Talita, the Princess of Mayhem, is never wrong. Meaning we will always blame the French. So, Sam, when he shows back up...
Yeah, when he finally turns up, it's all Sam's fault. See, I have candy.
Mm-hmm. Just like... Anyway, kids, that's going to do it for us tonight. You all have a great evening and a happy Halloween. Bye, everyone.
Lay back, relax, enjoy it all. Saturday night, it's time to say no more. S&M with Tally and KRC. Come pleasure or pain, welcome to the stream.